What is reality? Reality is everything that exists. Our five senses, touch, taste, smell, sight, and hearing, do a pretty good job of convincing us that many things aren't real. Rocks and camels, newly mown grass, fresh ground coffee. These things trigger our senses. Simple. Job done. Switch off the video. But wait. Are we going to only call something real if we can detect it directly with one of our five senses? What about dinosaurs, which once existed but exist no longer? Are they real? What about stars that are so far away that by the time their light reaches us, we can see them, they fizzled out? What about things that exist in the present tense, like, for example, a distant galaxy that's too far away to be seen with the naked eye? What about bacteria too small to be seen without a powerful stethoscope? Yeah, I wanted to see if you're listening. Microscope. But yeah, must we say that these things don't exist because we cannot see them? No, obviously we can enhance our senses with certain instruments, microscopes, telescopes, and so forth. So the question of what is reality is far more complicated than what one might assume. Does this all sound interesting to you? I thought so too, but the author makes no more mention of reality for the rest of the book. Very strange, very disappointing, very, very demure.
I actually hate you. As soon as I heard very, very, I said he's not gonna. He's surely not. Surely not.
But weirdly, this book turned into a book about interesting facts. I thought it was going to be a book about what makes me question my senses every day. I thought it was going to explain that our senses trick us every day, like how our eyes fall for optical illusions, or how even the sun, how we think it rises in the east and sets in the west, that's just an illusion our eyes fall for. But no, there was none of that, or hardly any of that anyway.
A waffler.
Yeah, so
Top waffler.
very, very disappointed. Pause this video right now. Go and read The Magic of Reality by
Richard Dawkins. And when you've read it, you can join us for the discussion.
Or you could join us anyway, because we're going to tell you all about it. My name's Elijah.
And I'm Joseph, and welcome to the Aisha Library.
So yeah, did you like my trendy very, very?
Jesus.
I had a feeling you would know what I was talking about because you're clued up, like, you know, on social media and whatnot. But it's just stupid.
It's just stupid. It's
everywhere. Mainly women, isn't it?
Of course, it's Black Twitter mainly, but it's women.
Yeah.
It's women, and like I keep saying, they're not funny. Fight me, honestly. Yeah.
So what do you think of the book?
Well, I always think about we did do a book by Richard Dawkins already called The God Delusion. Pause this video and go and watch that one. Yeah. But I do believe, from a sample size of 2 books, which may or may not be fair, this guy overpromises and underdelivers. So like he will set the book out to be life changing, and then he'll just be drivel and waffle, and just.
So I found some amazing mind blowing facts in there, but it was nothing like.
This was better than The God Delusion for me. This was better than The God Delusion.
Well, it was. I feel like the title was clickbait because it's not. This was like. This was almost like a what-if book, just science of different things, where he dives into it in a bit of detail and then moves on to the next thing. And then, So I don't think it was terrible, but we needed much more information. And the 100%. Fact that he had to always talk about the myths of whatever proves to me he didn't have much content.
He didn't.
So you talk about the sun. You talk about the sun, and then he'd start talking about myths from the Aztecs and this and that. Why are you talking about that? Just tell us what the sun is, bro.
It's called reality, bro.
Yeah,
it's called reality. Man's talking about myths.
Do you know what I mean?
It's the opposite. Ridiculous. So The Magic of Reality by my favourite author, Richard Dawkins. Somewhat ironic for somebody who doesn't believe in God to believe in magic, but hey, I don't make the rules. God makes rules, Richard. Anyway, I'm going to go against my cardinal rule here and be fair to this book, even though I didn't like the last one the dude wrote. So, main reason why I really wanted to be fair to this book is because it seemed like it was going to be so good. It's called The Magic of Reality, and I literally said, I'm receptive, my ears and eyes are open, change my mind about you, go. And he doubled down, made it worse. So no one can say I really wasn't fair here. I think I was entirely fair. Let me go again, actually, because I was a few sentences in, and I can already tell this book is going to be a giant mindfuck, he said. Which is exactly what I was hoping for. Reality is one of those topics that, if perused without care and caution, can ensnare the unwary in a minefield of 100,000 concurrent philosophical suppositions, can send one tumbling down the rabbit hole with Alice and have you wondering what cheese puffs are made of, or any number of mundane things that we take for granted every single day. There is no global definition for reality beyond that which we can perceive through our senses, and this definition has been proven to be flawed time and time again. So the first thing we must answer is, what is real? And instantly, just from this point, you could tell I definitely would have written this book better than this guy, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Because I'm literally just
You know
like,
what I mean?
I thought he was going to go take us down a rabbit
I
hole.
think we're gonna have to read a book by a philosopher that's gonna really fuck with you. Do you know what I mean? Because
Name of the Rose.
no.
Not on that level.
No. So you know the big three or whatever, Plato, Aristotle,
yeah.
all that. They really screw you up. Like you don't know what's real anymore. And
Which
that's
is
what
exactly
I thought we
what
were
I was
gonna
wanting. That's
get.
exactly what I was
Or maybe we
expecting
can
from
read
here.
one by Immanuel Kant because I haven't read a book by Immanuel Kant. Who's another philosopher? He's like a modern day. He's not modern day. I think he's about 200-300 years ago. But it's modern day.
Yeah.
I think we'll do one by him. But he's one that I liked. If you got a framed photo of yourself and placed it on the floor, and then another photo of your grandfather and placed it on top, and then his grandfather and placed it on top, and his grandfather and his grandfather and his grandfather to the beginning of time, there would be picture frames of over 185 million. The stack would be taller than 40 New York skyscrapers stacked on top of each other. Remember, the man said grandfathers, you know. He didn't say fathers and then fathers. He's been skipping generations all the way up, and it'd still be that tall. Apparently, the earliest grandfather we know was a fish. Yes, we came from the sea. Is that why our fingers go wrinkly when our hands are in water? Is that our body's way of automatically readapting to the water? Funnily enough, Professor Joseph has a master's in this subject, and I'm going to allow him to expand.
So,
Okay, ready? The waffle is life.
Pass me the syrup. I might have to waffle all over this. But yeah, that was incredibly interesting. I didn't even notice what you said about him skipping fathers. I literally just clocked what you just said there.
Yeah.
He's literally skipping generations.
Yeah, he's saying his grandfather and his grandfather and his grandfather.
Yeah,
But
that's insane.
It's mad. You don't know. There's so little you know about yourself and your family tree. I mean, I don't really even know what my grandfather looks like.
Like, we don't know what our grandfather looks like, and beyond that, we have zero clue.
Done.
Zero. It's literally done. Like, we don't know anything. Like, literally, I was talking to my dad about this, and he was like, because I was talking about, he was like, are you African? And I was like, we're not really African, never been there, like, etc., etc. He was like, somewhere along the line, our ancestors were from Africa, and I was like, where in Africa? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, we have absolutely zero clue. There's no way we can find out.
Africa's a big place, you know.
Very big, like, do you know what I mean? It is insane. Like, how we can't go back. Like, there's loads of people that can trace their ancestry back, like X amount of maybe 100 years or whatever. We can't.
I mean, you can do that an ancestry DNA thing. I think they just do a little anal swab. It's always that. It's always that.
Can I request a larger swab?
Do a throat swab? Or
I'm dead. That was when we did that with COVID. That was horrible. How do women do it? It was horrifying.
When I did the COVID test, I was petrified about it, and I was petrified about the nose. I thought the throat's going to be terrible,
Yeah,
but the
was
nose is
scary.
the one that was scary. The throat was the one that
Literally,
I couldn't do it. And then I did it with a girl, and so I went in first, and she said that.
She's like, it's mine not.
She was like, what is you do? Like, when I say, she said, I scared the hell out of her because I went first. Because I'm the man, I'm going to go first.
Of course.
She come out within, 2 seconds later. They had to call a nurse for me because there was a guy
to hold you down.
That's good. I was like, I'm going to be sick. I'm going to be sick. I'm going to be sick. Yeah, she was like, that was minor.
That's the thing.
They didn't even touch the sides.
Yeah. When because I did one of them walk-in COVID tests where they set one up in Windrush Square, and I did one of the walk-in COVID tests, and the woman was like, basically you take the swab, and I was literally like, yeah, you're gonna have to like.
I was gonna say I can't do it myself.
Exactly, I can't do it myself. You're gonna have to like. And I was, it was terrible. It was terrible. I was making pterodactyl noises, boy. Sound like Jurassic
I
World.
honestly think that screwed me up to this day because certain things makes me gag. I mean, looking at certain things make me gag and want to be sick. Like I was talking about certain things before, and I was never like that before. So I think my throat's been violated. I think that's what it is. It's been violated to the abuse.
We can see into the past. We see by using light, right? And light takes time to get places, ergo the speed of light, which is
186,000 miles.
Jesus, actually got it. So technically, you see a friend's face, and you're and you're actually looking at their face as it was 1/1000th of a second ago. However long it took for light to reach your eyes from their face. In fact, they say that if the sun blew up right now, it would take about 8 minutes for us to notice. So, if you had a big enough telescope, does that mean it's theoretically possible to see the beginning of the universe? And guess what? It's already been done. The James Webb Space Telescope is an international space project between NASA, the ESA, which is the European Space Agency, and the CSA, which is the Canadian Space Agency. It's the largest telescope in space, launched in 2021, and it's about 930,000 miles away from the Earth. It's so far that it can see all the way back to the last time you brushed your teeth. Now, it can see all the way back to the beginning of the universe, which is about 13.5 billion years. And there is a picture from the beginning of the universe, allegedly, and it looks like a bunch of nothing, basically. It just looks like some green, flat, nothing really to see. But it is insane that, like, what would you do with your 8 minutes? The sun's blown up. We've got 8 minutes left.
I can get about 3 nuts in.
That's a about 3.5 maybe. Literally. Massive.
Only lost a minute, get 8 in. There's rookie numbers.
You know what I mean? Pump those numbers up. Pump them up.
Yeah, 8 minutes isn't a lot to do anything.
It's not a lot to do anything.
I wouldn't be doing this stupid pod.
Literally switch it off.
Kick it
Pause this video right now.
Do you want to go again?
Yeah,
I've got 2.
This author has a peculiar way of getting his point across. So in the first chapter, Dawkins talks about magic and what we mean when we use the term magic. We might mean a fast-talking card illusionist in a market offering quick money to find the lady. That's a scam, by the way. You should never ever do it. We might mean an old woman in a basement with a crystal ball who promises to pass messages to your deceased relatives for a fee. And sometimes we mean something breathtaking, something that makes us glad to be alive. Dawkins then goes on to explain all the many ways in which actual magic of the supernatural, cannot exist. Not that I have a problem with a grown adult not believing in magic powers, but it was not a useful segue to get into. I think I've worked out what bothers me about his books. He writes like he's trying to explain something to a 4-year-old. So like,
listen, as my next point.
He was literally like, oh, we can turn anything into ash. We can turn a pumpkin to ash, for example, but you can't turn an ash back into a pumpkin. It's too complicated. I was like, what are you waffling about?
Listen to me. Listen to what I've got to say. Books like this are the reason why people think British people are stuck-up pricks. Phrases like, I won't try to explain electromagnetic waves to you because it's going to take too long. Condescending twat. He's basically saying I've got far better things to be doing than to be teaching the likes of you.
He said, I don't have the time or the crayons to explain.
You're so slow and incompetent. It's any wonder you've managed to dress yourself by yourself. What an asshole. Having said that, the book was quite complicated. So he was right.
No, but it's about his attitude.
I think it's the accent as well. Though.
Yeah, it's the accent.
You listen to it.
Yeah.
He's so...
superior.
Yeah.
Superior to mere mortal. But you know what's interesting? People say the same thing about your driver, Lewis Hamilton. People say the same thing about him. They say he's condescending, he talks down to people. He went on a Graham Norton show and he brought his steering wheel from his F1 car. Exactly. Yeah. And obviously...
he said, I wouldn't even...
He said, mid-diff, he said, I wouldn't bother explaining that to you. You're never going to get it. And like, loads of people in the comment were like, wow, so if you can get it, sure, like, unless you're like some era-defining genius or whatever.
I don't think he meant it like that. I watched the clip.
I definitely don't think he meant it like that, because obviously Formula 1 is one of those things that it's vastly underrated how technical it actually is. It's probably the sport where you think it's the least technical and it's the most technical.
Yeah, and also he's probably thinking, these lot aren't even really interested in this.
Exactly.
He's
and it's like
told to bring it.
Formula 1 is the thing that people think all they're doing is driving, turning the steering wheel. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know Lewis Hamilton designed his own steering wheel. I didn't even know Formula 1 drivers did that, designed their own steering wheel. But yeah, go on.
I was speaking to a girl about Formula 1. I was explaining how good it is, and she said, all it is meow.
She's beyond help.
Yeah,
you can't help the blind see.
You can't explain.
I
was talking about how each lap the cars go faster because the rubber from the tires goes onto the track. It provides more grip. And she said, yeah, but all it is meow. I said,
can't help the blind see.
That's what that is. I said, yeah, love women like that. Shut up, love.
Literally,
take those off.
You see what I'm saying? Them jaws off. Yeah, it's crazy though. He was just explaining stuff like it was a foot. I'm like, I know you can't turn ash into a pumpkin. Like, why are you? What is this?
Yeah, he's an asshole.
I wouldn't like to.
He's like, what's he call him? Sheldon, but on steroids.
Yeah, and English.
Yeah.
So it's even worse. Darwin's natural selection. Everybody's heard of the famous scientist Charles Darwin and his theory of natural selection, but I have to admit I learned a fair bit more about it in this book than I knew. Fair bit is probably overstating it, to be honest, but I did learn something.
I don't know. Sorry, I'm not probably getting to start again. But what I wanted to say is, he thinks he's so smart, but he doesn't ever speak about Al Haytham in his book of optics.
You know what I mean?
By, where we actually learnt about natural selection.
Exactly.
He doesn't speak about stuff like that, and it leaves me to believe, does he know
He
about
doesn't
it?
know about this stuff. He don't know anything.
Stupid
Like,
twat.
bro, when you get into the meat and
much.
potatoes, there's not much, not enough. Double down. When you get to the meat and potatoes of anything he's talking about, it genuinely seems like waffle. So, like, not to bring it back to the God delusion again, but when we read the God delusion, this guy will say, we will be dismantling your arguments about God. We will be utterly destroying you. You will have no place to go. And then when he got into his most important point, he was literally just like, it just doesn't make sense, It's like, can't believe some guy in the sky. And I'm just like, nah, man.
Yeah.
Get this guy out of here.
He rubs people up the wrong way.
Yeah, definitely.
And what is that about? Is the narration is the woman and him. What is that about?
I don't know. I think that was just a second narrator.
But he done that with the God delusion as well.
Yeah,
but
man thinks he's a pioneer.
Disciples.
Darwin's natural selection. Everybody's heard of the famous scientist Charles Darwin and his theory of natural selection, but I have to admit I learned a fair bit more about it in this book than I knew. Essentially, the theory is that some species will live long enough to procreate and others won't. The ones that do will pass useful survival traits onto their offspring, which means generation by generation, the human race is being rewritten by our surroundings. As we stop needing to swing from the trees and develop feet to walk on Earth instead, in 10,000 or so years, we could look completely different again. I was going to put in a little joke in there about, imagine us anyways. I actually swing from the trees, you monkey.
Don't speak French. That's what?
One fascinating example of such a survival skill is called countershading. This is observable in creatures such as killer whales and penguins. The penguin has a white underbelly and its back and flippers are black. This is done as a form of active camouflage. From beneath, the white of the penguin's underbelly camouflages it against the light from above sea level, whereas from above, the black of the penguin masks it against the dark from the ocean bed. So now you know why penguins are black and white.
So how do you explain this then?
That's what this is for. We'll stand against the wall when God spray painted us.
You missed a bit.
Literally. Of course, killer whales can use the exact same technique to disguise themselves from unwitting prey until it's too late to escape. But then nature would never give an advantage without taking one. So, funnily enough, I actually heard about this while I was at the zoo the other day. Penguins have a form of camouflage called countershading. And anything with a white underbelly and black on top does the exact same thing. So killer whales, etc., etc. But you would think penguins can't. Another thing I found out as well: most penguins don't like the cold; they like the heat. And it's like you would just. Why is this not? Why does no one know this?
They got to go to their breeding ground, something like that.
Something like that. They prefer sunny climates. It's only a small.
Who doesn't?
A small. Literally. Well, people always complain about summer for some reason.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
British people.
Yeah, I guess.
I got to go back to their. Oh. Doesn't work with them.
Reform UK. Yeah, literally.
So how many you got?
Two.
Perfect. I got two. Stephan's Quintet is a group of galaxies that is about 280 million light years away from Earth. This means that if aliens in that galaxy with a powerful enough telescope looked at Earth, they would see the dinosaurs from 280 million years ago running about. Jesus. The light from 280 million years ago is only reaching them now. No, wait. Now. But yeah, I love to hear facts like this because it makes me feel so impossibly small and insignificant. And because I have delusions of grandeur, it helps me put my reality back in check. But yeah, no, when you look at the universe,
you see them
like going to
videos.
work in Tesco's later, it's like so pointless.
You
it
literally
feels
kill
so
yourself.
Pointless. It's like, why am I doing this?
Why am I even doing this? But you know what's funny? When you see them, it's not even funny at all. When you see these videos where they will like show the Earth and then zoom out and then show like a picture of Jupiter and then zoom out, show the sun and then zoom out, show galaxies, and you're thinking this is getting ridiculous.
It makes
impossibly tiny.
Seems so
impossibly
pointless.
tiny.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The first person was a fish. I know you kind of already did this. I'm going to speed through this one. In this chapter, Dawkins postulates where the first human might have come from, since we're ruling out Adam and Eve and other myths about the origin of the human species. Humans grow from infancy to adulthood, and the change is so gradual that you can never pinpoint one specific day or time to attribute it to. We never say, today I am middle-aged, but tomorrow I will be old. So by this logic, there was no first man. According to the author, if we stack pictures of our ancestors going back 185 million generations, the stack would be about 16,000 feet high. More than 40 New York skyscrapers stacked on top of one another. If we stack them along a bookshelf, the bookshelf would be about 3 miles long. At the near end would be you, and at the far end would be a fish. So essentially, the fish that survived had slightly less fishy offspring, and over the gradual process of 185 million generations, here we are. So it
sounds like bullshit to me.
It sounds like bullshit, you know. And why was it a fish? How do they know it was a fish?
Well, he done his over under delivering,
overpromising, under delivering.
Yeah, he done the same thing again because he said, "Let me explain to you how the first man was,"
and then he didn't.
And then he didn't.
And he said it wasn't.
And he said it was a fish. But whose was the fish's daddy?
Exactly. Do you know what's funny? This is the exact same thing he said in the God delusion, why God can't exist. Now he's explaining that we came from fish instead. So where did fish come from? Do you know what I mean?
You can just keep doing
Explain.
That. It was God.
Yeah,
That's
come on, man. Accept it.
This you told me about, but he went into more detail.
Yeah.
Every card shuffle is so unique that the chances are, if you shuffle a deck, then the order of the cards has never happened in the history of the human race and won't ever happen again.
It's insane, isn't it?
The number of possible shuffles is 52 factorial. This is the short version, but let's go for the long version.
The long version.
The long version is there are more shuffles than, I'm just going to say the number, 80 unvigintillion, 658 vigintillion, 175 nomondecillion, 170 sextillion, 943 quindecillion, 878 quattordecillion, 571 tridecillion, 660 duodecillion, 636 undecillion, 875 decillion, 403 nonillion, 766 octillion, 975 septillion, 289 sextillion, 505 quintillion, 448 quadrillion, 883 trillion, 277 billion, 824 million. Problems, but a bitch ain't one. No, but there's that many ways to shuffle a deck.
Oh, that's insane. There's only 52 fucking cards.
It's crazy. But no, that stat, every card shuffle is so unique that the chances are if you shuffle a deck, then the order of cards has never happened in the history of the human race and won't ever happen again.
Yeah, it's what Neil deGrasse Tyson said. He
Crazy.
literally said, we can say, if you shuffle a card with good confidence, we can say it is an entirely unique order of cards.
That's crazy. You
It's
would never
insane.
think that. You're just there playing Snatch.
You know
like
what I mean?
an idiot. That's the most intelligent thing you could do with that set of cards. Slap them down, match them, slap them down. But yeah,
the only reason I didn't put this one in is because I've said it too many times in other videos. But
I don't remember you saying it. You told me about it, but I don't remember you saying it.
I've definitely said it. I might have said it.
But yeah, you told me about that, and I was like, yeah, that's bullshit. That's rubbish. But yeah, they went into that number.
It definitely sounds like bullshit, innit? But it's crazy because, like Neil deGrasse Tyson was saying, you have to times 52, which is the number of cards, by
51.
Exactly, by the but you're literally multiplying possibilities. So the numbers are infinite. It's insane.
Crazy. Useless to know. But
there's nothing you can do with that. What exactly are atoms? According to Britannia.com, an atom is the basic building block of the universe. It's the smallest unit into which matter can be divided by ordinary chemical processes. How do we know this, and how long have we known this? Well, the Greek word for cut is tomos, and prefacing a word with the letter A is a linguistic tool to indicate not, rather like the word asexual, like Elijah. So atomos would mean can't cut, which is an interesting anecdote about where we get the words atom and atomic. So they said if you could cut an atom of gold, it would not be gold anymore. That's like the level of, because the author was saying, if you got a knife and cut something up and just kept cutting it, how small would it get before you can't cut it anymore? And the answer is, it would have to get imperceptibly small before we could stop cutting it. And our eyes just aren't good enough to be able to see on that level. But it is interesting that what was he saying about Plato and these lot, they know everything. These old ancient Greek philosophers, they're making up the words atomic thousands of years before we even knew,
Yeah.
A lot of our words come from.
If only those people were born in this day and age, you know, with the technology that we
what
have,
more?
they could catapult the human race into something that's somewhat civilized.
But it would also have all the foolishness of today and age.
And
as well.
distractions.
The distractions, because
Yeah,
there was
'cause-
nothing to do. That's literally why these guys were
Sit
reading
there
all
and
the
think.
time.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
had
yeah.
Pornhub. Like,
No, said read. Get a load of this.
do you know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So maybe they was born when they should have been born.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, so look, I don't think you should read this book. There are some interesting things in there, but it's too much about space. Too much about space. What is that about? Tell me some interesting shit, but
It seemed like he gets somebody else to write the titles of his books for him. He would write the book and then somebody else would write the title who didn't read
yeah, but
the
his book kind of had no structure because it was just weird all over the place and whatnot. But
This just goes to show that.
oh yes, quote of the day.
Quote of the day. This just goes to show that degrees doesn't make you smart.
Quote of the day. I'm looking at the wrong chat. Quote of the day. Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible.
That's a good quote. Get to the gym. So that means
I'm going right now.
get up.
After a drink. I'm going tomorrow. I start tomorrow. But yeah, till next time.
Till next time.